I've always been a big fan of Radiohead's music videos. I like how they've usually remained consistent in having a unique set of filmography to not only bring a piece of music to life, but sometimes have it take upon new meanings entirely. Even getting to a point sometime where their music videos will reference their music videos. I don't know if it's just me, but have you ever noticed this weird fixation the guys have with featuring middle-aged businessmen in their videos? Or bald people? Or perhaps maybe even a whole shitload of middle-aged bald businessmen? I've always found that peculiar. I think part of the reason why I've become so enamored by the band's visual output over the years is that it was the music video for Paranoid Android that initially led me to my obsession with Radiohead, which I discovered through, of all places, a freaking Watch Mojo Top 10 video. I remember just hearing the song and thinking it sounded super cool, and the accompanying animation done by Magnus Carlsen had a specific 90s indie animation charm that immediately resonated with me, later finding out that it was based off a cartoon done by Carlsen called Robin, which, if you haven't seen before, is pretty great. But if I don't stop myself here, I'll be going on and on about a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with what you're watching this video for, and I don't want to clickbait you guys. Unsurprisingly, for a band around as long as Radiohead has, many things have either come and gone or got tucked away never to be seen by the public eye. This is especially evident with how they would manage their music video output. Today I want to focus on a select few promos that have either disappeared completely from the band's official video canon, or never had the chance to find its way there in the first place. There's a lot of cool stuff to get into here, so without further ado, let's take a look at Radiohead's lost music videos. I'm sure many of you are aware by now of Radiohead's infamous Anyone Can Play guitar. If not the studio recording, then certainly the MTV Beach House incident. Released as a single for Pablo Honey on February 1st, 1993, the song was accompanied with a music video directed by Dwight Clark, which depicts the band members performing the song during what could possibly be the peak of their Pablo Honey era awkwardness. For whatever reason, it features these extended shots of lizards and chickens, which I guess kinda fits with the artwork from that album. Honestly, I don't know why the band is so adamant on hiding this one because I think it's fucking cool. What's perhaps not so cool though is the video for Pop Is Dead. To be honest with you, I don't feel like talking about Pop Is Dead right now. And that leads us to our final video from the Pablo Honey era. Stop Whispering. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this one. I guess it's cool that it's soundtracked by the superior US version of the song, but other than that, the video is kinda boring. Not surprised that the band is adamant on leaving this one out. Making our way onto the bends, and we've only got one video to discuss here, that being High and Dry. I know you're probably thinking, hey Pooka, High and Dry already has a music video. And you know what, bud? You're absolutely correct. Except you're not, because it actually has two of them. The video the band has uploaded on their channel is one released for the UK market, which depicts the band performing the song in a California desert. However, I guess the label executives didn't consider that American enough and went ahead and created a whole different video for the US market. Even though it was officially released, it seems to be very much under the radar in present times, so I figured I should shed some light on it, especially when it's a video that can only be described as batshit insane to say the very least. It starts out with the band pulling up into Dick's restaurant, where they promptly sit down at a dining booth. The video then introduces us to the lives of three characters, two of them making up a young couple, and the third one, in typical Radiohead music video fashion, is a balding, middle-aged businessman. Tom exits the booth to go to the bathroom, which is followed by a string of events including flashbacks to the lives of the aforementioned characters, a key being dipped in mayonnaise, people in the diner lip-syncing to the song, and an intense stare down in the loo between Tom, the middle-aged businessman, and also this random fucking kid for some reason. After this is when shit really starts to hit the fan though. The businessman exits the restaurant to attend a phone booth. The couple is given a carry-out order which they bring into their car and drive off. Turns out though, that their food has a fucking bomb buried in the fries. It goes off inside their car, killing them both. But while this is going on, the business guy is out here getting strangled or stabbed or something, and then the video just fucking ends. Look, I'm not trying to be difficult, but I have a really hard time telling what exactly is going on here. I've watched this shit like 5 times and I just can't tell what exactly warranted these characters' fates. I tried looking for an explanation in the comments, but they all seem to have been mindfucked by the video too. I'm probably just trying to look too deeply into this though. The music video came out a year after Pulp Fiction did, and if you ask me, it comes off as a huge love letter to the film. What with it following a bunch of different narratives involving crime, having a briefcase with speculative contents, and, well, taking place in a diner. I assume that director Cunningham just wanted to make some Pulp Fiction fan fiction, and none of it is meant to be taken too seriously. Despite my confusion though, I fucking love this video. It's so damn chaotic, there's just no way I couldn't love it. I find it way more interesting than the UK version too, which is why I find it a shame that it isn't featured on the band's YouTube channel, or even the public library. Weirdly enough, the US version is featured on that 7 television commercials compilation that the band released a few years later, but I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself here. To properly contextualize that, we'll have to move on to the next era of music videos. Alright, it's time to talk about some real shit, and get into what I consider to be the real bread and butter of this topic. You know, OK Computer was a pretty big deal for the guys. At some point during the making of that album, they were ambitious enough to want to convert the whole thing into an entire video album. We're apparently only a few songs short of pulling it off. I don't think there was any overarching narrative between each video or nothing, based off of the videos that were released. You know, it's not like they were making their own version of The Wall, but it was a huge feat nonetheless. Plans ended up getting scrapped due to financial reasons, and we're currently only aware of 2 of these scrapped videos. Some of you might already know about this first one, which is the video for Let Down created by Simon Hilton. The song was originally planned to be released as the 5th single for OK Computer, but those plans were quickly shot down after Tom saw the video and reportedly thought it was shite. Since plans fell through, Hilton ended up posting the video on his own online portfolio, at least up until Tom quickly demanded the video be taken down. Miraculously, however, given the time period that all this took place, someone was able to download the video during the brief period it was up. Unfortunately, this archived copy was far from perfect. At around 2 minutes and 10 seconds in, the audio starts hissing and getting corrupted, and then the video just abruptly stops 15 seconds later. Not to mention the video quality wasn't all too great either, but still, it was at least better to have this than nothing at all. The video would go on to be considered partially lost video from that point, at least up until March 2016, nearly 20 years after its conception, when YouTube user Ann M uploaded the full video in higher quality just right out of the fucking blue. So following where the last copy of the video left off, the visuals mimicked the song's crescendo by slowly incorporating lights and colors into the foreground, until exploding with the music with all sorts of trippy, psychedelic effects. You know, I think it's a shame this video got rejected. Sure, it's a bit repetitive, but if I saw this at 2 AM on MTV, I would think it was cool as fuck. But I don't know. I don't even know if this is gonna make any sense, but there's something about this video that makes it the perfect sort of thing to have become lost media. Like, I think the fact this had to be discovered makes it infinitely more interesting than if it had been properly released. It just looks like the perfect thing to have that aura of mystique around it, you know? Wait, what the fuck? What the hell is that ending supposed to imply? Is Colin supposed to be Jesus or something? Why did it stop there? Anyways, the second example from this OK Computer visual album we'll be taking a look at here is for Fitter Happier. For what I know, this video seems to be pretty unknown even to some of the most die-hard Radiohead fans. The video is set up as a 3x3 collage of looping clips depicting the various actions conveyed in the song's lyrics, along with a lot of visual embellishments that are synced to the music. I'm a total sucker for this effect where the visuals get all blurred and distorted whenever a noisy swell from the song gets up front in the mix. It's simple, but extremely effective, which I think is a good way to describe the video as a whole. It was directed by James Ingwell, who was not only kind enough to release an upscaled version of the video in full HD, but also included a write-up that gave a lot of context for the video's creation, as well as the band's plans for the OK Computer video album. I'm not going to read through it all here as I already paraphrased some of it when I introduced this segment, but I highly encourage you to go to the link in the description and read through it on your own. As for now, it's currently unknown what other videos were made for the album, besides the ones released officially, that is. Well, there is a video for Lucky, but since that was made to promote the Help charity the song was originally written for, before OK Computer even started production, I think it's safe to say that doesn't count. I personally speculate that this whole video album idea ended up getting converted into that 7 television commercials home video release I mentioned earlier, which consisted of, well, 7 music videos from the Bends and OK Computer. My theory is that they had too many resources invested into releasing a video album, and instead of releasing nothing at all, they decided to just quickly throw this together and put it out. It would explain why 7 Television's commercial is so bare bones too, with it only containing the aforementioned videos and no extra features. It's a total bummer that the video album concept got scrapped, since I would have loved to see what filmmakers could have done with some of the other songs off that album. In good news, however, this wouldn't be the last time that we'd see an attempt at the idea, but that's something we'll be taking a look into a bit later. As for now, let's talk about Kid A. It would appear to be a pretty significant left turn from the band come Kid A regarding their visual output, going from wanting a full-length video for every song with the last album, to not wanting fucking any at all with the next one. In an attempt to avoid the stress of publicity, the band opted not to release any singles for Kid A, and with no singles, meant no music videos. Instead, the band released a series of blips which aired during commercials on TV channels like MTV, soundtracked by segments of songs off the album. Though a few animators were quite prolific during their labor, and ended up creating full-on music videos for a few of the songs off the album. The first example we'll be taking a look at is for Idiotech. There's really nothing to say about this one. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It's literally just a panned out shot of a CGI modified bear walking circles in the snow. Exhilarating stuff. Next we have this music video for Motion Picture Soundtrack. Unlike most of the other videos here, this can actually be found officially through the Radiohead Public Library. It mostly retreads old ground if you're familiar with the blips already, but isn't strictly a clip show since it introduces some new footage into the fray, including this trippy shot of a psychedelic light show, extended footage of the Stickman blip, and also this scene of the floating, decapitated head of CGI Tom York getting shot down by an arrow. Yeah, to properly explain that, we'll be having to move on to this last video from the Kid A era, soundtracked by How to Disappear Completely. It starts off in the second verse of the song, with the all-familiar blip of Tom's face being rendered in, before it cuts into all-new animation depicting a modified bear walking in the snow carrying a briefcase. Tom York's decapitated head becomes sentient and takes the breeze over the abstract Kid A landscape, while the modified bear takes out a bow and arrow from the suitcase and begins to take aim. It's a bullseye, and strikes Tom right in the... Cue the same shot we saw earlier in the Motion Picture Soundtrack video, and a slow pan out of Tom's final moments as he slowly bleeds out. The video then fades to black, as we barely catch a glimpse of the modified bear inching up to its prey. For some reason, the guys weren't too fond of this one. I don't know why. I guess if someone came up to me and showed me a video of my decapitated floating head being shot down by an arrow, I'd be pretty creeped out too. But at the same time, think of all this unique animation that went to waste. Like most of the Kid A blips, this video was made by Shinola, who initially brought the video to life via their own Vimeo page during June 2016, amidst the hype for a moon-shaped pool. It was quickly taken down though by Vimeo through a cease and desist. It was pretty much scrubbed off the entire internet afterwards. A lot of this would go under the radar, unbeknownst to many Radiohead fans up until November 20th, 2021, when Reddit user ElectralPlum1396 uploaded the video in its entirety to the Radiohead subreddit. According to them, they saw the initial Shinola upload and had a gut instinct to immediately download it, something that would prove to be a good call. They uploaded on Reddit during the hype for Kid Amnesia, and inquired about higher quality versions of the clip, which someone from Shinola was able to provide in 720p, and thanks to that we were blessed with the entire blip in all its glory. I gotta say, I adore this little video, if just due to how bizarre it is. At the same time though, I could be fascinated by any bit of secret Radiohead lore not meant to be seen by the public eye, so I'm probably a bit biased. It honestly makes sense why the band would want this video to stay in the shadows, even if it is something that I personally find to be pretty great. Now before we dive into the last segment of this video, I quickly want to mention that I won't be looking into anything from the most gigantic line mouth of all time here. While there are various clips in that DVD soundtracked by songs off that album that weren't officially released as music videos, a solid chunk of it involves stuff that doesn't specifically tie into any music from the band. I thought it would be more deserving for it to have its own separate video later down the line. Something that should be noted from this DVD, however, is how it set a precedent for Radiohead's willingness to collaborate with indie filmmakers. While there have been flirtations in the past with things like the Paranoid Android music video, the most gigantic line mouth of all time dialed things up a notch by featuring an abundance of fan-made submitted content. A few years after this, the band would proceed to up the ante even further, leading us into the final segment of this video.